Why do you?
Boom.
It's so anxiety inducing, you know? Like, what if I say the wrong thing? Make the company look bad.
Imagine that.
Gotta edit the YouTube video before it goes up. Add some background music.
They were like, look at these yahoos who work here at VMware. Oh my
Present
goodness.
company accepted, right?
Okay. So I guess it looks like we are recording the meeting. Does anyone have any status updates? I can kick things off. There is a release candidate. Oh, parents.
Well, is Javier not making it, I assume.
Yeah. He is out. I think we just got to updates. So there's a release candidate of pack that went out on Monday, went out a little bit late. I apologize. I was traveling on Friday and there were some pipeline issues. But if there's any additional bug fixes people want to get in, I guess throw it up, take a look at it, and we'll try and get it in for the releases cut.
When's final release for 18?
Yeah, so it'll be on Monday because I think we need to have 5 business days of release candidates. Yeah.
I can give a status update related to that. I did have a PR app that I closed out about changing one of the flags that's about to be released. There was some good feedback on potentially different names for it, but I think it all kind of lent to the fact that we should probably gather some more feedback on the feature as it is, and maybe look for ways to fix the name by not changing the name, but maybe by changing what it does to make it fit better with what users expect it to do. So yeah, separately I'll go and lay out the scenarios and see if we can tweak the behavior to fit those scenarios. Apart from that, I'm just trying to get a change into lifecycle that'll hopefully make it into that release, which will bubble up to PAX release. It's a fix for cache images, so it's slightly user facing for PAC users, but yeah, shouldn't be a big change.
Okay. I think that the idea was that we wouldn't be using the latest lifecycle release. I don't actually know when that's going to get cut for this pack release. But
yeah, actually that does sound right.
Is there an official policy on what lifecycle gets picked? I know there's the discussion last time with Natalie.
don't think there is. I think it's just been flying by the seat of our pants for most of this. Yeah. Probably should have that discussion for future cases like this.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like whatever is latest by the time kind of the freeze gets implemented. So then there's like the 5 days at least to bug test, and then you can revert if you have to, right? Or roll back to an older version.
Yeah, and I think there's an issue in PAC as well about just using the latest lifecycle release that conforms to a given API that PAC will look for. I think that would kind of fix some of this, and it would just be the lifecycle would be able to just roll out whatever APIs it wants. So I guess any more status updates?
I guess just stuff from core team is we're finalizing stuff on roadmap, and I think it should be coming out today if it hasn't already. Hopefully, we'll see.
Hey,
But there's a PR in the community repo that Joe opened that has at least the detailed bullet points. That is not the nice fancy wording stuff that we tell the public who don't go to our GitHub repos.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Check that out. Oh. Oops. All right. I guess, whoops. We already kind of talked about release planning. That's previous section. So I guess can jump onto the needs discussion stuff, and I'm happy to share my screen. Okay. Okay, so only two small things. It looks like moving the analyze phase before detect. I think there's like a huge PR on the life cycle that needs to land before we like think about what we're gonna do here or start making any changes. Still looks like it's going through. I haven't looked at this in a while.
Yeah, I think this is blocked on a spec. Was this a spec change that they're waiting on? Yeah, draft spec PR maybe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So there's a couple links in the loop here
Yeah.
before we get back. But all right. Awesome. Yeah, this will be huge. This is like a massive change. But
Platform API, right?
yeah, definitely.
Pack gets to handle both.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Sorry.
Just throw in here related to this change. I think there will be some changes that have to move around in pack for Windows. There's a prep step that goes and runs before detect that ensures that the volume permissions are correct. And I suspect that'll have to move to running before analyzer or analyze. I'm sure the test will fail and will show us how that goes, but I guess we'll have to be clever about how we deal with that for different API versions.
Okay. All right. And I guess I'll add a note just on this issue, just to kind of like capture that so that I come back and
I
look
could
at
do
this
that too
later.
if that's easier too. Yeah, sorry to
Yeah.
throw that in there. Yeah, I'll pop that in there right now.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and it looks like the second thing is this GGCR, and I've briefly, I need to add some feedback here, but I don't think we should do this because you either get a bunch of redundant information that Pat will already give you, or you get just every request and response that GGCR issues to a registry, which is an overwhelming amount of stuff. So. All right, okay. No more discussion stuff. It looks like I accidentally just ticked every single box in our notes, but RFCs. Looks like, do we want to talk about this, the project descriptor, domains, RFC, and
I mean,
some
that's
discussion on this
fine. I don't know if there's a ton to discuss besides probably would just be good to get people's input.
Okay.
Because it's like super bike shed. Anything that's a file format is a bike shedding topic, but it'd be nice to get some semblance of a consensus.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, we have this package refactoring, which I think is also kind of at the same place. I think it'd be good to get an extra pair of eyes on this stuff, but it doesn't really outline anything too dramatic. Sorry.
And this is sort of like sub team RFC thing that we were doing, or is that a different one? This is the one we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, so one of the questions I have is a little bit about the process. Do we want to wait for this to be approved by the maintainers and the core team members in this meeting? Because this is the first RFC that's kind of trying to go through this path of just needing approval by people who are going to work on the platform, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically if I was to straw man what I think a sub team RFC probably would look like is like you probably just need approval from maintainers of that sub team. So I think
Okay.
that's Javier and David.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about historically, how have refactoring RFCs gone in the past, right? Because I would imagine it's hard to know if a refactor is good or bad until you see the code, right? So I guess I'm just wondering if people have thoughts.
I don't know if there has really been a refactoring RFC in the past, mostly because one, the project is only a few years old. So I think this is the first attempt at dealing with the fact that context and decisions were different back when the project was created.
Yeah. I think that was trying to shift the focus away from like what things will actually look like at the end and kind of more be like, hey, these are some really generic things we're gonna have, like just this like PKG, this is like standard Go, and some of the asks that we've had so far about functionality that should be consumable by other people. So I think trying to capture those 2 points, and then I think that the big thing is just trying to outline like, oh, in the future when we're trying to do this are probably just some like basic steps that we should take so that we don't have to write a new refactoring RFC every time people want to make a refactor. Because yeah, totally agree that agreeing in this meeting before anyone's actually done the refactor is probably not the way to get to code base we want to maintain. But I don't know. Thoughts? It might even be like, just saying that out loud is like, do we like really need an RFC to do this almost? Like, but that'd be useful feedback.
I mean, I think Javier is the one that asked for it, right? Initially, I think more than anything, it's like a tool for probably getting ideas down and having that discussion. Like I don't think like every single refactor goes through an RFC, but I think kind of like you said, right? It's like a lot of high level kind of things and not like this is how the code should look, or these are the exact, like it says as one of the non-goals, right? Like these are the exact packages that need to exist. So I think from that sense, like even like when this goes through, it will be nice for, I think, future people coming through to be like, no, it's like you can point people to this, like this is kind of the general idea of like how things are laid out and designed inside a pack.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, totally open to any other feedback. But I guess I'll just wait for people to feel comfortable to vote on this. I think probably. Unless there's anything else to add. Move on. Adding builder key and project descriptor. I think this is gonna come up. It's also in FCP, and then we just have application acceptance. Okay. All right, sorry. Definitely not as fast as Javier going through this stuff. It looks like we have a couple other things. The image util OS architecture aware constructor options.
Yeah, I can do the quick overview on that if that's all right. I'll do a quick screen share. The gist here is that to support Windows, or not only support Windows, but also to start support multi-architecture images, both reading and writing them, although primarily around writing them. We added a new mechanism inside of image util to let you call the image util remote or image util local new image and specify what kind of image that you want to make there. By default, we're just relying a lot on GCR's defaults or on some hard-coded Linux AMD 64 defaults that were inside of image util. So now you would explicitly say which OS you want to create the image for. There's this slightly different edge case that this platform gets used for, specifically in the small case where you're actually using from base image. You can give it a preference, or from base image with the manifest list. You can give it a preference. It'll tend to prefer whatever platform you're asking for if it's ambiguous. But the primary case is really for your brand new image to have an OS and architecture ahead of time. This is totally optional. Most of Hack continues to use new image util new image without that option. So even if it does, you do bump to the new version of image util, you won't change any of the behavior until you start to use these separate options. So it can gradually be added over time. And also there's places in Pack that aren't creating images this way through image util. Those might be candidates for either adding more porting that. This is particular for build packages created on disk. Maybe that'll be a good forcing function to move that functionality into image util or come up with some other holistic way to solve it. But it's really try to be very conservative about how we introduce this functionality, so you weren't forced to change the way that you're currently making images. There's more. This is the closed or the merged PR in image util, but there will be some examples that'll come up using this inside of lifecycle first. But yeah, like I said, if you bump to the latest image util, you'll be able to do this in Pack, but you don't have to. Any questions or any thoughts?
That manifest list selection is nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, one thing that was a little unclear was whether we should actually make this have the exact same option, do the same thing for manifest list disambiguation and for new image creation. Potentially we could have added an option to the from base image there. So if it feels weird there, it feels like that should change. That'd be good feedback. Potentially tweak how it works.
Okay, play around with it, but it's nice. It's nice. Oh, okay. I guess the next thing is the registry helper test changes.
I guess I got all the topics today.
Yeah.
This also came in with similar sort of alongside those changes in image util, but not specifically for the same purpose. I can share screen again. This one will be pretty short as well. So current state of affairs, image util and lifecycle use the same registry helper, and that registry helper is the way to create a one-off test registry for a test, usually for acceptance tests, I think. You can write a bunch of stuff to it, and then it goes away when the test stops running. The way that it currently works now is it always expects to be running on what both the container and pack and the test think is localhost. But it's and it does that trick by running the container and having any test containers use -- network host. So everything can kind of standardized on localhost being the same thing, even though it's not. That's all well and good, but it doesn't work very well on Linux or on Windows. And interestingly, we saw that a new version of Docker Desktop had that broken as well. They'll probably fix it, but yeah, Mac was broken with that functionality. So the hope here is to make it easier to not have everything need to use network host for the same thing, to make it easy to stand up a test registry container and then inform the test that's running where to look for that. The way that it's going to do that, at least in this current implementation, is by asking the daemon that it's running on if it has any insecure registries entries, and specifically ones with a /32. Feels a little contrived, but unfortunately if you already use this test registry this way, you need to have it as an insecure registry somehow. You could have a wildcard entry, allow any insecure registry if you wanted. But it felt like the single source of truth is to have a single entry in there, that /32. It's very secure. You're not going to have someone create another registry on that exact same entry, like maliciously, like up in a CI instance or something like that. So you won't inadvertently trust too many things. And then at the same time, it also tells the test where to find that registry in a more public way than just localhost. I think that's probably the most significant part of the change there. There's a few other tweaks that came out of this, but again, this is just the registry helper that's used in lifecycle and in image util. So if Pack did want to start using it or wanted to have similar functionality, technically it already has similar functionality, it's just slightly different. It does allow the Windows acceptance tests to run against a registry that's not effectively on localhost. You could potentially adopt this registry implementation or change the one in Pack to be similar. This one's a lot more hand wavy than the other topic. So if any of you wanted to, if you want me to explain anything more, I'm happy to do that. Also, no need to adopt it too.
I think that the Mac this functionality is still busted on Macs, fortunately. So it would be nice to switch off of it.
Yeah, this seems I've been using the latest version of Docker Desktop and running all my lifecycle and image util tests locally using this feature. So it does seem to work around it for the time being. We're just about at time too, so I can save my other one. Or if y'all have any more questions, you can send them in Slack.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing after this. You want to like, I want to cut you off. But...
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's about it for that one. The last topic I had on there is I'm moot at this point too, because I think I closed the PR, and we can discuss the a better name offline, I think.
Okay, sounds good. Yo, alrighty. Take care.
See y'all.